So this is my company, YGCVideo.com, faceplant your way to success. You gotta commit proposal version 1.1 or 1.0.1. And as you can see, I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk about what YGCVideo.com is. And it's a website based on a blog. And just as you can see, the proposal design, I've got three colors. I got orange, light blue, and dark blue, corresponding with the logo. I chose these colors because the darker blue is very calming, and blue is just a calming color, and then I used orange as kind of a spice to add a little bit of heat and excitement to it. I chose Slant as my logo font, and my body font is Helvetica New. The logo process began over here as this was my first logo, YGCVideo.com, faceplant your way to success. I then tried to go and do something a little bit more fancy, with just the hanging C, and the problem was the font. I really didn't like the font. So I chose Slant, and I did YGC instead of YGTC, switched it to YGC, so it's you gotta commit instead of you got to commit. And it landed on this as a share icon, because essentially it's a blog where you go in and you share your success stories through failure. Company name, you gotta commit, tagline, faceplant your way to success, address, phone number, website, YGCVideo.com, email, jcarroll@YGCVideo.com. Repository of stories, this is the purpose, a repository of stories for people who overcome significant problems and care to share that success, their success stories of commitment. Other purpose is to share Jeff Carroll's portfolio, an executive summary, basically talking in more detail of our purpose in general. Developer profile is where I'm talking about it's where I'm talking about myself. My name is Jeff Carroll. I'm a web developer. I go in and I tell you a story about me climbing Dunn's River Falls and how I kind of using that story as a platform to try and get the point across of what it is I'm trying to do. And this is my development team right here. Why we're here, to share the story of YGCVideo.com and share the progress of building it up. And then project box, this is probably going to be like the landing icon if it were a downloadable app on your iOS device. So that's the idea of my product box right there. Because it's software related, it's hard to do like a product box. But anyway, I've got my my not list of in scope and out of scope things: searching single user accounts, user privacy settings. Group accounts and admin accounts will be in version 2, and they're out of scope for version 1. Unresolved issues, technical details, and making stories searchable. Make Jeff Carroll's story a prototype to answer the searchability problem. So I gave you one and I showed you how I'm going to solve it. Meet the neighbors. The neighbors of YGC are the team of people around us and stuff like that. And then this is my technical architecture, the solution to how it's going to exist. This can be a PHP CodeIgniter MVC app connecting to a MySQL database with Backbone.js and jQuery on the front end. And the big thing that really keeps us up at night is hackers, bad marketing, availability. Code commits are annoying too. Not generating the business we want is all part of marketing as well. So I'm worried that the hackers are going to come in and knock down our availability, or one of our developers is going to commit code that affects our availability. And then goals and functionality of the site: user accounts, public feed, settings page, profile page. Construction is going to take 3 weeks. IT testing. The IT department is going to test it for a week, and then the internal, all of the internal department for our company will be testing it for a month, and then depending in that period, we'll be fixing whatever other issues, and then we're going to ship it. Yay! And the scope of the project is flexible. The budget's not as flexible. Time is very flexible. We don't need this finished till March. Simplicity is the one thing that we can't live without, because we really want we want to, as I'm going to go into more detail about this in a minute, but we want to reach the widest range of users, from really tech-savvy people to non-tech-savvy people at all. The only people that use technology is on their iPhone. You know, people who don't even have computers, just tablets or devices, stuff like that. Anyone to be able to use this. And so, to hit the widest range, simplicity is important. What will it take? A total of 2 months, 2 developers, about $10,000. And then, so let's build our users. We just started talking about that. Some education levels for people within social media, that because essentially what we're doing is we're sharing blog stories. We're building extended stories of everyone, and then giving the functionality of sharing that stuff. So social media is pretty much my icon for how I'm going to determine who's going to be able to use my app, because essentially it is a version of social media. And the majority of people who do it are people who are at some college level of education, a bachelor's degree, something like that. Anyone that's had college or above is the second highest person to use social media, and the lowest is high school. Then the average age of people who use the internet, believe it or not, it doesn't fluctuate that much. 19 to 29 is the highest, and 65 plus is the smallest, which kind of is expected, but it doesn't really fluctuate that much. It's not even that real high. It's 90% of people from 18 to 29 use social media, and 65% of people who are 65 and over use social media. And I suspect that as the generation changes, this number is going to go up and up and up. So social media daily usage, Facebook comes in at 35 million, Twitter at 100 million, and Blogger at 15 million, or 14 million. However, the interesting thing of this, and that's hits per day, daily usage, the interesting thing is the amount of usage that blogs got in 2004, which was the creation of Facebook, all the way to 2014, has exponentially grown since Facebook has grown. The more people use Facebook, the more people use blogging. It's an interesting dilemma there. And then, so here's Brian Doyle, age 57, occupation pastor, income of $40,000, and an MDiv, or Master's of Divinity. His habits and routines are that he essentially, because he's a pastor, he's constantly looking for God stories, or social networking stories, or positive influence stories that he can share, and use that to bring in a positive environment to those he caters to. And he stumbled upon YGC, and he wants to create a profile on that account because he wants to continue to use it, discover new stories. So he goes in there, and this is my journey map. He goes in, he creates the search stories. He then he finds one that resonates with him, which creates a desire to commit. So he is required to, or he has a desire to comment on that story that he likes. he's now required to create an account to comment, which is a pretty common thing within blogs. You have to have an account with them before you can comment on their blog. But that's still a make or break. That's one of the reasons I don't really comment on blogs. And then so he decides to go through it and fill it out anyway. He's still kind of annoyed that he has to do it in the first place, but he finally hits the click submit form button and he's feeling good. He's then prompted to comment on the article and prompted to create your own story as well, and he got really excited about all that, so he's happy in the end. Then my wife, then Jennifer Carroll comes in, and she's 26 years old. She's a teacher, and she's looking for stories to share with her students, stories to write. She wants to add stories. She wants to become an author. And so she looks for any type of blog to be able to share a story. So she does that. She then goes and she already has an account within You Gotta Commit. She logs into the site, clicks post a story, and she's prompted with all these options. Last one is a plagiarism prompt, a warning saying that you might... it's also part of the terms and conditions, but it's just a prompt that they get, and then and protecting YouGottaCommit.com and then she's presented with congratulations for submitting the site, and the plagiarism prompt is kind of annoying, but you know, she accepts it and acknowledges it. So developmental feedback, as I was building up the site, I needed to essentially create a sitemap for my users. So I got some feedback on how to best do that, and I used card sorting to do that. And essentially you start at a landing page, you then can search and have a results page, but this is the top end navigation at the very top. You have a profile page, you can post a story, you can go to your settings, you can log out, and you can, this is just an article details page that actually refers to the results page. But the profile page is the most interesting because this is where all your story collections are found and your portfolio page exists. So you could add, as you add more stories, your profile can gain more, and you can add more stuff to your portfolio of accomplished successes. So this is the wireframe as a mobile interface. It's a landing page, pretty simple. It's what is the YGC, why use YGC, or download the app. This is pretty much the same thing on the desktop. But as I said, here's the navigation bar, and then here's the search bar. So then, if said user were to go in and say, hey, I'm going to search for success, the search bar gets prompted up to the top of the screen, your navigation stays where it is, and similar to social media prompts, you have a endless feed of users and things you can look at, and there's a read me or read more where you can go and dive into the actual article and read about it. And this is all built into YouGottaCommit.com. So then content delivery plan. This was essentially how I went about building out my site, and started out with a company name, worked on a logo creation, development team, inception deck, which took the longest amount of time because it was pretty much all the backbone and understanding of what the site's going to actually end up being, and then the basic usability of the site by creating user personas and user tasks, which then led me to be able to create a sitemap and wireframes, which was the very last. Over here I've got a graph just depicting the importance of each section, inception deck being the most important to get an idea of what's happening. User personas and then user tasks help out with sitemap and wireframes. Wireframes is just a little bit more helpful because it also helps you redirect to a sitemap. At least I found that out to be the case. And then I've got my A/B testing, and which do you prefer, the logo that I have over here on the right or this logo here, and you can click on that link and it'll take you to the test. And my reference is, thanks for taking a look at yougottacommit.com, and I hope you have a great day.